Hi everyone. For this lesson we're going to be working with layer masks. First thing you're going to need to do is go into Canvas and in module 6 you're going to find doorinthewoods.jpg and .jpg. You're going to need to download that, and you will also need to download beach.jpg. And once you get those downloaded, you're going to open up Photoshop, go into Open, go to wherever they downloaded at. You can actually open both of them at the same time by clicking one and then holding down Shift and clicking the other one. Click Open. They will both open up. The first thing we're going to be working with is the door in the woods, so make sure that it's the active tab. And what we're wanting to do is select all of the door, but not select the door frame or these plants that are right here in front of the door. So we're going to start by selecting most of the door itself, and then we'll get in there and start getting some of the details. So to do that, we're going to select the quick selection tool, just anywhere inside the door frame. Just going to click and drag downwards until we get most of the door frame in there. The next thing we're going to do is zoom in, because we've already got all of the top of the door taken care of. That was easy. Now we got to get down here. We got to get rid of where we've selected dirt. We've got to select a little bit more of the door down at the bottom, and we've got to unselect all of the green plants. All right. So to do that, we're going to do something a little new. And if you select the Q button, it'll turn everything else red that's not inside of our selection. Okay. So the first thing I'm thinking we're going to do is get rid of the dirt, select the rest of this, and then we'll deselect all of our greenery. Now, what's interesting about this is it actually works similar to how we're going to be messing with layer masks. So the first thing we need to do is switch to our paintbrush. We need to make sure that we have black and white as our two colors, our background and foreground. And then if you paint with black, you can see we're getting red. And that means that that area is getting deselected. So if we were to hit Q again, we could see that the selection has been taken out of that area. Okay. Now if you switch to white, and there's multiple ways to do that. One of the ways is you can click this double arrow right next to the two colors, and that switches the background and foreground. Another way is on your keyboard, you can just hit the X button, and that'll also switch your background and foreground. So now we can go back in, color in with white, that reselects it. Now the other thing you can do is make your paintbrush either bigger or smaller. You can either come up to the top and select this drop down and change the size here, or you can, on your keyboard, select the left or right square bracket keys. The left bracket makes it smaller, the right bracket makes it bigger. Just color that in. Okay. So now what we need to do, switch back to black. Need to color in the areas that we're wanting. I think I might switch to a harder brush because we're getting a bit of outside area. So I'm just going to click once here to show you what I mean. So you can see towards the center of that click, it's a lot darker red, but as it goes out to the edges, it fades away. That's because the brush that we have selected has the softer edges. We're wanting to switch to a harder edged one. So we're going to go in and we're going to just do hard round. So now if I click, it's just a solid red dot. Okay, so let's get rid of both of those. And now we can come in with our harder brush, maybe make it a little smaller. Come in and just draw a line right there to get rid of that extra selection off of the door. All right, and I'm going to switch back to white. I'm going to select a bit of the door here. Okay. I'm actually just going to go ahead and color in the whole thing, and then we'll come back and deselect where the green is. There we go. All right, so now we can zoom in even more on the green areas. We're going to switch to black. We grab our paintbrush. I have to make that brush a lot smaller. There we go. And we're just going to color in the green areas. This part might take a little bit, so feel free to zoom past this section. In fact, I'll probably speed it up in the video. All right, so now that we have everything selected, we're going to go and zoom back out. So we're going to click the zoom tool and then fit screen. And it looks like we did a pretty good job of making our selection. So we're going to do a couple things now. So to get out of this red selection area, we're going to click Q again, and we can see our selection is there. But we're actually going to deselect it for a moment. So just go up to select and deselect. We're going to make a copy of our background layer. And then we're going to add our layer mask onto it. Now we make sure that the background copy is the one that's selected. And we're going to click this icon that looks like a rectangle with a hole cut out of it. That's the Add Layer Mask button. That's going to add this white rectangle onto it. And you can see here that it's got the border around it. That means that the layer mask is what's selected. And I'll show you what's important on that. But first let's make our reselection. So go up to select and reselect. We got that back. Now what we're wanting is the door to be colored in black and everything else to be colored in white on the layer mask. Now if we were to have the image itself selected instead of the layer mask, and we came over, grabbed our paint bucket tool, had black as the background or the foreground color, started clicking, well, nothing would happen because we have the door selected right now. So if we clicked in the door, we'd see that it starts coloring in the black area. But we don't want that. We're wanting the layer mask to be selected so that whenever we click it, it turns it all black. Now that's not going to get all this extra area down here, so we're going to switch back to the paintbrush tool, make that a bigger paintbrush, probably around the size of the door. Well, it can go way bigger if you want, but then just swipe down with it and click it, and it's going to fill in all the extra areas that we want colored. There we go. Now you can't see any difference because we have our original background still turned on, but if we were to turn that off, you can see that our door has actually disappeared. Now it's still there because we're using layer masks, so if I were to hold down Shift and then click on the layer mask, it turns the layer mask off for a moment and we can see the door is still there. So it's what's considered a non-destructive erasing. All right, so let's turn that back on. Now if we had just erased the door, it would be gone and we can't get it back. Since we did it this way, it's still there. We're just making it to where we can see straight through it. All right, so now we've got that all properly selected out. So now we're going to go back up to select and deselect. Now we need to add something inside the doorway. So now we're going to go over to our other tab called Beach. We're going to grab our selection tool and unlock the layer by clicking the little padlock that was over there. Then we click it and drag up to the other tab and then back down. Don't let go of the mouse until you get over your original image. Then once you let go, it's going to show up on the top. Now we need that to be behind our original layer, just like that. And now it looks like we can see straight through the door onto a beach setting. All right, and then you can just move it around a little bit, get it generally centered to where it looks like you can walk straight down the pier. All right. And that's actually all there is to it. We've made the layer mask. You can see straight through it to the next layer. So it's like you're going through the door onto a nice beach. Okay, so this isn't the one that you're going to be turning in. For that, we need to go back to Canvas and back to our modules, back down to number 6. And I want you to download the kitchenwindow.jpg. Once you get that downloaded, go back into Photoshop, open, or File, Open, Kitchen Window, and Open. All right, so this time around, what I want you to do is select the two window panes, and then on a layer below that, I want something to be seen through the window, just the same way you did for the door. So that's your assignment. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Have fun with this. It doesn't have to look like it should be seen through the door. It can be a picture you've taken, or it can be a picture you screenshotted from a video game, or anything you find on Google is fine as well. Please have fun with this one, and let me know how it goes. Thank you.